All right, welcome to LC Podcast number 2. Today, starring with me is Jack, Peter, Grayden, and myself, Jared.
Did it normal that time?
Yeah, not like one.
Well, that's
like,
yeah, but it made it better for. It was more fun editing because I was like, I think I did Peter, Matt, and then Grayden, and I was like, camera.
You had to like ping pong between the two.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's not very smart.
It worked out fine.
editing magic.
It worked out fine.
Got him.
But yeah, so number 2, first one went really well. We turned out, got a good amount of views. Excited for number 2. You didn't even look at it.
I mean, I watched it. I
can't believe
know what it's at.
Look at this.
You're one of those.
Yes.
I am one of the views. I don't know how many views it's at currently.
It's at 47.
Oh,
It's a good number.
that's a good number.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Healthy number.
I bet your mom watched it, Peter.
She most definitely did.
Nice.
So did
She's
my
like-
mom. One of my clients watched it too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Nice.
Yeah. So they enjoyed it. They thought it was
Are you
fun.
watching this one too, client? I hope you are.
yeah, client.
Client. The unnamed.
That could be anyone.
Thanks for
Client.
All
Client.
right. This isn't the Client Cod podcast. This is the gaming podcast.
Well, it's an LC podcast.
What's
Not really a
another
gaming
podcast?
podcast.
You could have fooled me. You like talked about video games the entire time last.
Yeah.
Like in the
Well, we
last
got
time.
on a rant.
Yeah, that's true. We just let the round go. Anyways, Grayden, you said you wanted to talk about something
Yeah,
prior
well,
to
you were
this.
talking about, I don't know, well, you were talking about shit and you're Edmonton and Evan, who's in Edmonton, and
Yes.
that poor man.
He hasn't
Because-
appeared in a video in a long time.
Because he's in Edmonton, yeah. Evan's our behind-the-scenes editor.
yeah.
Is he coming Tuesday?
Yeah, he is.
Oh, my
excellent.
goodness.
We'd do a podcast then, but anyway, continue.
Hey, tune into our stream on Tuesday.
Yeah,
by the
stream
by the
on
by the
Tuesday.
time this comes out, it'll
We
be
could
long over,
do
but-
another podcast.
That's what I was
We have
thinking.
streams
Yeah.
every Tuesday, though, I think, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Whatever-
Do our stream on
Yeah,
Tuesday.
If you're watching this, there's going to be another Tuesday in the future, hopefully. If not, then like.
Didn't you guys hear? The world's ending in 2019 on
Yeah,
Tuesday.
Thank God. Like just
Yeah,
end
that
it.
sounds
Like,
great.
I'm done.
No, but so you brought up Edmonton, and I actually talked to Jerry about this the other day. I was listening to the news on the way to work the other morning, and I guess there's a outbreak of STIs in Alberta, and Edmonton is leading the charge.
Nice.
They're number one in STIs right now.
Didn't they take Winnipeg, or did Winnipeg take them for most crime rate in
No,
Canada?
Edmonton took Winnipeg.
Oh, man.
Edmonton, number one in crime, number one in STIs. Gonorrhea,
I mean,
gonorrhea
that is
up
a
40%.
that is a crime in the end.
So why did they have to remove City of Champions from their sign? They used to say City of Champions, and they took that down a couple years ago because they stopped winning. They're number one in 2 categories now. Like,
Well, there you go.
good job,
Put it back
Edmonton.
up.
Oh, my goodness.
So I think that's hilarious because
How does that happen? Like,
I don't know.
like
People can't afford condoms.
Yeah,
Clearly.
It's the
super
economy.
expensive. Yeah.
You could literally walk anywhere that's like a public health and get a free condom.
You can get as many free condoms as you want. Like all the like clinics have jars of
Yeah.
condoms at the front. It's like they're
yeah.
giving them away like they're
But
candy.
I have to go to a clinic.
You have to walk in the front door and be like, "Hey, you have a bowl full of condoms?" Like, of course we do. What kind of clinic do you think we are?
Then I gotta go to the clinic and I gotta find the bowl. Or I could just find this little lady on the street.
Well, first off, you have income, so the bowl's not for you.
You can find this lady on the street.
I'm thinking.
I have a bowl. I'm ready.
I was thinking in terms of Edmonton. Like that's got to be how it spread so fast, right?
You could be like, I'm the 1% guys. I have the protection.
I have to be desired.
Oh, my
Wow.
goodness.
All right. Well, I'm glad the second episode's off to a good start.
Oh yeah.
I just thought it was funny. So I mean, obviously it's terrible, but just because it's Edmonton, I think it's funny.
Well, there you go, everyone.
Yeah, but Edmonton just is Edmonton. No one likes Edmonton.
I'm sure Edmonton people like Edmonton.
No, because people that live in Edmonton don't like Edmonton.
But they have a mall.
They have a new hockey arena.
They have a mall filled with crime and STIs, apparently.
It's the biggest.
And
But it's the biggest. It's the biggest
number
ball
one
of
in another
STIs.
Wow, 3 categories.
Jack's right. They should put that sign right back
Yeah,
up.
the
They
City of
shouldn't they?
Champions.
1 second. I have to fix Jared's audio. Anyways, we were going to talk about video games, right? That's kind of the point of this whole thing.
Yeah.
I think, right?
All right, well,
Back and
the
forth.
first one to talk about, which is kind of taken by storm for battle royales is the Apex Legends, and we did a video earlier in the week for Apex Legends, and I mean, all of us like it. I know Grayden hasn't played it yet, but everyone else, like Jack likes it, Peter likes it. I enjoy it. It's a fun game.
I've played one round, but I liked the one round I played, so that's good. That's promising.
Yeah, it just got a new update either yesterday or today, actually, with its first major content drop and stuff. So there's new cosmetics and stuff you can go buy. They're okay, not bad. A little pricey, but it's a free game.
We were making a comment, or Eric made a comment, I think it was 2 days ago we were playing, or a day ago, and he was like, his one issue is like all the legendaries, the gold,
the gold ones,
all the legendary skins look less cool than the purple epics.
Some of the epic skins look awesome.
Like there's the one that you had that is like the glowing red that's like filtering down. That looks really really good. And then the other red one above it for the legendary is like, it looks kind of badass, but it's like it's like a colored leather jacket. I mean, I know you're into leather jackets, but
I have one leather jacket that I wear.
Therefore, but you wear it a lot.
It's a nice jacket.
How many things of something do you have to own to be into something, right? Because there's a lot of people who are like into cars, but they don't own like 20 cars. They own like one car tops.
That's a very true point.
So since Grayden owns a single leather jacket, is it fair to say he's into leather jackets?
I'd say so.
Right.
I don't think it's about the amount you own, it's the frequency of use. I'd say.
Okay.
All right, so Grayden's definitely into leather jackets.
Is it frequency of use when it's practical?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, a car's practical.
Am I a car person because I drive a car? I don't know anything about cars, and I don't like cars, but I own a car.
Is it necessarily practical? Is a leather jacket practical?
I mean, it keeps me warm in the Canadian winter.
But there's other jackets that could also keep you warm that aren't leather.
Arctic goose on the shoulder. That means you're warm. That's what that means.
Yeah.
Isn't it Canadian goose?
I don't know. Arctic is cold. Is it really?
No. I don't know what you're talking
Canada
about.
Goose is jacket with like the big furry hood.
Yeah.
Oh, that.
Yeah.
They're like super expensive for some reason.
Hundreds and hundreds of dollars.
And jackets are expensive. Jerry and I went out to buy ski jackets a while ago, and like you gotta
be ready to drop at least a couple $100.
Oh,
yeah.
It was more than a couple $100.
Yeah, because like my jacket I bought more than a couple years ago. That was a good, I think 300-400, but it's warm. No regrets.
We were looking at the different jackets, and they had we thought ours was expensive. We got one of the less expensive jackets in the store.
Yeah,
and it was $600. There is some jackets we looked at that were like nothing, like some Arc'teryx jackets and everything, and they were like $1,500 and they're I was like, why do you need a $1,500 jacket? Like, I get it if you're doing like big expeditions into like the Antarctica or something, and you're like, I need to make sure I'm always warm. I'm in super cold temperatures. But in Calgary, why would you need to buy a $1,500 jacket?
I can't be cold on transit.
It's about the fact that you can own a $1,500 jacket. It's like, I spent $1,500 on this jacket. It's just as good as the $900 or the $600 jacket. But I paid $1,500 for this jacket.
When people see that little patch in my Starbucks, and I'm gonna be like, I'm on top of the world.
Oh, but they're wearing like the Canada jacket, but then they're wearing leggings, which I'm not judging how women choose to dress. I totally do whatever you want. It's like the leggings are not warm compared to the jacket. They can't be, right? Unless leggings are like some sort of. Like, maybe I should start wearing leggings.
Have you worn leggings? Are you aware of their amazing warmth, apparently?
No, I'm not a legging person.
No, I can't say I am either.
I mean, I wear like spandex when I work outside.
Okay, that's allowed,
it's like specially designed. I don't know.
Yeah,
it's just leggings.
You're wearing like long underwear, like style spandex, right? Yeah.
Long johns.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the word.
Yeah. But I mean, if I owned a $1,500 jacket, you better believe that everyone that I walk past would know that it was a $1,500 jacket.
Just leave the price tag on.
I would just leave it on there hanging, and then every time someone
flopping around in the wind,
they'll be like, "Oh, nice jacket." It's like, "Yep," and I wouldn't even say anything. I just like flip up the price tag and then walk away.
You know the thing that like when you have ID cards like in hospitals and stuff, and they got like the string to it where it just snaps back. You get one of those for your price tag.
I need to do that with everything I own. Actually, yeah.
So I was chatting with my friend from Australia yesterday.
Nice.
And there's a conversation that came up about I forget how it came to be, but they were talking about expensive clothing. And it was like how you go into some places like Aritzia and Market Mall or whatever, where they've got security guards. The clothes are ridiculously expensive for like a tiny piece of fabric. And she mentioned how there was a skirt that was like, I think it was like $600, she said. Okay. And she got it for like almost not like 80% off because there was a stain on the inside, a place you could not see it. You could not identify it, did nothing to the clothing on the outside, but they gave her that big of a percent off. I was like, and if that tells me that clothing is not worth what they're paying, if they're willing to drop it stupid amounts percentage.
How did she find this?
Why
like
as well?
What they're marking the inside. No, I'm not buying this.
She didn't even find it from what she told me. She was like, they found it because she was doing it for graduation.
Really? Oh, okay.
So she's doing it for graduation, and they found it and told her about it. So it wasn't like, I said, if I found out that that's what happened, I would now go looking every time I went in there. I'd go looking for something.
Happy
look on the inside.
I'll bring some little like olive oil with me, and I'll just start like sprinkling it on the inside of clothing.
I mean, that is actually a pretty big part of retail, is marking down damaged products. Even if it's like just slightly bad, like you often have to discount it a ton.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah,
but 80%, like damn.
I don't know if it was actually 80%. I'm just throwing a number out there. She said that she got a huge percentage off, so I'm just going huge.
Yeah,
that's a big number. Like $600 for a skirt that covers probably like 2 feet worth of fabric.
You haven't seen this skirt.
They're in Australia.
Yeah, but they're going to a graduation. They're not going to the fucking strip club.
If you live in Australia, you can only buy 2 feet of clothing at a time.
This just in. All Australians are scantily clad women.
I was waiting to see what was going to come out there.
Scantily clad.
I don't care if you're a man in Australia. You start wearing a kilt if you're in Australia. No underwear.
Oh. Breezy.
Oh. There's too many bugs in Australia for no underwear, man.
Clearly I was
if anything, Australians should be wearing the leggings. Like, no, a spider can't get up your leg if you're wearing leggings.
It doesn't need to. It just bites through it. And then I mean, there's some pretty funny stuff, but she's also brought up. This is completely diverting from our current topic, but she brought up dingoes.
Oh yeah,
because we're gonna go camping, and she brought up dingoes, and I was like, aren't those just your version of coyotes essentially? And then it got in this conversation, like, yeah, they're super this. I was like, coyotes in Canada are basically a joke. Like, most people just joke about them, like, a coyote comes in the yard, I just bunt them out of the yard.
Yeah. Bunt them out.
Pretty much.
Like, I was just laughing, just like,
yeah, out of here.
It's like, it's because you guys you're crazy Canadians. I was like, oh, maybe, but
you're crazy Australians.
Yeah, that's what I would say.
Scared of dingoes.
Dingo took my baby.
Yeah, then I looked that up. That's apparently is a pretty serious serious thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like someone was in Australia, was their baby got taken by a dingo, but they got blamed for murdering the baby.
Oh shit!
So there's a whole thing where they're trying to prove it back and forth, and
my God.
In the end, it was proven that the dingo did take the baby and killed it, but their whole they got just slandered by everyone and the U.S. media and movies and everything.
Well, that's what you think, but really those dingoes just took the baby to raise it, as their own, and now they've got a
Crocodile Dundee,
a feral dingo baby somewhere in the outback of Australia.
God.
But so that's apparently a pretty serious thing over there. I was like,
can't imagine that. It's like, no, it took my baby. Okay.
No, I know exactly. It's like it's when they say it, it's like, okay, that's pretty hard, almost hard to believe, because like if you think of a coyote, they take like small dogs or whatever out of yards.
Imagine a coyote,
but you're just like camping, and then all of a sudden a coyote comes into your tent and takes your baby. It's like.
Got my baby.
I mean, if it's my baby, it's like maybe the kid deserved it. It's like if my child can't defend itself from a dingo, like
if my infant child who hasn't learned anything yet.
Hey man, that's
just natural selection.
Yeah, I mean, there are some cultures where if an infant baby can't like roll itself over and stop crying, like from the moment it's born, they just don't pick up the baby. They just like let the baby die. I wish I was joking.
No, I believe you.
Yeah,
just like you're useless
the
baby.
Poor,
If this baby can't do any housework, then what did I spend those 9 months making it for?
Oh,
This
awesome.
is a very insensitive podcast
Yeah.
today.
This is a very insensitive podcast.
I would have gone the opposite direction though. It's
Yeah.
like the dingo took my baby. Sure. Like in Australia, like a dingo took my baby. I'm like, all right, I believe you. You did like a group of spiders got together
it's
and
like-
carried my baby away. I'm like,
Yeah.
all right.
Well,
it's
Australia.
It's Australia. It's like, yeah, anything can kill your baby in Australia. Like,
Well, especially when
Think about
you're camping in the outback. I mean, I'd say
Also,
it's
why?
really, really likely
Why did you
that
bring your baby
more
camping?
so than their thing. This is the best part about it is like I forget what they proved the stuff inside the vehicle was, but their whole story was that she took the baby into the vehicle and slit its throat in the vehicle. That was their argument.
Yeah.
Going forward, and because there were spots of what they said was infant blood on the in the vehicle, but it turned out to be a whole bunch of random stuff. It wasn't even blood to begin with. It wasn't anyone's blood. They were just like, this is infant blood. This is it. And then one person said, no, I think this was actually this, and he gave the reason there, and then the government was like, nope, you're wrong. And then they got another appraisal on it. And the only reason they got proven that they didn't do it was because they found the over jacket that the baby was wearing. And it was the one that was kind of shredded and all that stuff. The clothing underneath apparently wasn't. And they were like, oh, see, it wasn't shredded. And there's a handprint on it, which they said was dust afterwards. I was like, how do you mess up this many times? And then not be like, I apologize profusely for what I just put you through.
Because they committed to it. It's like,
Pretty much it.
you did it. It's like, no, I didn't. Look at all this evidence.
That's like giving it to someone being like, what do you think? They just went to a random person on the street. Like, what do you think this is on this outfit? It's obviously a bloody hand. No chance not.
Yeah.
Dust? No, not possible.
how would you feel if you were the family in that situation and you had been accused of murdering your baby, but in your head you're like, I know it's dingoes. You're basically going to court with the dingoes. Like you're
Dingo
trying
on trial.
you're trying to prosecute the dingoes. Like that's your defense. It's like, no, it wasn't us. It was the wildlife. It was the desert dogs.
You definitely don't trust society after that one, I'm gonna say.
No, that'd be a tough one. I felt bad when I was watching it because she just said look it up. I was like, okay. I heard the reference before, but I didn't know it was actually based on a legit thing.
I assumed it was like just another piece of Australian pop culture. Like just one of those Australian things like throw another shrimp on the Barbie or that's not a knife, that's a knife type deal. And I realized there was actually something behind it.
Yeah, and that's where I was when I watched the little documentary on YouTube about the whole news thing. It was really interesting. I was like, I feel bad for these people because they got totally thrown into the bus by everyone. And of course, as soon as something reaches the US, it gets blown up into media, right? Like it just explodes.
Clickbait everywhere.
Yeah.
There's some crazy stuff that has happened in Australia. Like crazy stuff. Like I try to think, it was the 1950s. The Prime Minister of Australia like went out swimming, like just on the coast or something like that. It was just never seen again. And they just didn't have a prime minister for like a couple months.
The dingoes did it.
Just like, oh, he's been gone for a while now.
I don't know if they ever recovered the body. I think there's like conspiracy theories about what happened to the Australian prime minister. He just like got, well, we don't have a prime minister now.
Put the dingoes in charge for the day.
Yeah, and like the 1800s when it was still a penal colony, it was like the Wild West meets like medieval times. Like there were criminals who made suits of armor and robbed banks with guns. Like there's a really famous like Australian folk hero or like criminals who like made a bunch of suits of armor out of like old sheet metal and went and robbed a bank. And like when the police went to shoot them, like they couldn't do anything.
Come at me, bro.
Australia is wild, man.
It's really cool though. You're gonna have lots of fun.
No, I'm excited. It's gonna be a fun time.
You should also say all the things like shrimp on the Barbie and that's not a knife.
They'll
And
hate
you should definitely imitate the accent.
They'll love it.
They'll love it.
I already bug her about her accent. Oh, she says I have an accent. I said you're lying. I don't have an accent. You have an accent.
We definitely have an accent.
No, we don't. No, it's fine.
It's fine. Shush.
Anyone who says otherwise,
You don't notice. I went to Australia when I was younger, like 15, maybe younger. And like they say mate all the time, right? And shit like that. And you notice you call them out. They call us out all the time for saying a. And you don't notice how much you say a until you set someone to call it out. Like it was every other sentence A.
Yeah.
I want to test this theory.
You'll test it whether you want to or not.
Yeah, you'll notice A.
No.
A bud.
A.
I feel like people don't say A.
I
that much.
always felt that I mean this could get really bad, but I always felt that going more to the east you got more A's, and going more to the west you got more haze almost.
more hay out here in the west there, bud.
Like a lot of people out here say hey bud or whatever. It's not like a bud anymore. Unless you're joking about it, because you do it to joke about it.
Not all the time. Sometimes it's pretty natural.
But I mean, when I don't know, I feel like I say hey more than I say a. This is now the Canadian linguistics
You know,
podcast.
speaking of Canada, the great country of Canada. Roll Up the Rim is back.
Yes.
Yeah.
I won my first. Like I'm 1 for 12.
Oh wow.
I won my first one today.
I'm 0 for 8 right now.
Did you win a coffee or a donut?
I won a coffee.
Damn, I'm like 3 for 8 or 9 or something like
Wow.
that.
That's not bad.
Well,
Must be nice.
I'm on a
I
good
hate
time.
you.
Coffee and donut?
2 coffees, 1 donut.
Now,
Nothing
Get the
special.
donut out of
what?
here. I can't do anything.
Because I was thinking about this today. Because like the one that I won was the last one that I got today, and I've been getting all larges. Do you think that has something to do?
I got
like,
all larges.
It's
What do
something,
you think it's better? So you should vary. Start with small, medium, large.
Like,
Start
I'm
over
thinking
small,
you probably have
medium, large, and just keep
more
going up.
odds in like the smalls and mediums because no one really ever gets.
Lots of people
smalls
get
and
mediums.
Lots of
I'm
people
thinking
get
you-
small and
I know. I was gonna say I know a lot of people that get small coffees. I actually don't know as many people that get larger coffees as that they get. Small
I don't
Coffees.
understand why people get a small, but they do. I see it all the time.
I always
Yeah.
get medium or large, but I never get small or XL.
I know it
So-
in university. I see a lot of people. They always get the small.
Yeah, it's like this big. I'm like, why? Like, it's like, great. Moving on with my day.
Well, they're students and they're used to partying, so it's just it's almost a shot
Oh,
glass
just-
size. They just like shoot their coffee like they do their alcohol.
Get the espresso shot in there, just good to go.
I can literally picture the students wearing their Canada Geese jackets and their leggings and holding their Tim Hortons coffee.
Small
you're there.
Tim Hortons
Yeah, they're
coffee.
small Tim Hortons coffee.
like
Wow.
A.
Yes.
That's in the East, though. It's hay here.
It's not.
Shut up.
We got Hey A.
Leave a comment if you think it's hay.
Yeah, please
Or
do.
A.
I would love
Or
to
A.
know.
I don't know. Now I want to think. Like I want to listen to how everyone speaks and just I want to pay attention.
Oh, when
And
you're
see if there's
editing,
any
I guess.
A's.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna point it out if it's a hey or an A.
I found that I always like when I got back from that trip, I noticed like I said it a lot as a follow up. It's like, hey Jack, how you doing today, eh? Or something.
Why'd you say
like
it
that.
twice? And then you went really Canadian there.
I didn't
Back
even
to his
notice.
childhood to the
Yeah.
pure Canadian.
Pure. It runs through my veins. But it was like it would always be like the follow up of a question.
Here's
what's for
one thing
dinner,
to
eh?
think about. Do you think because Canadians make fun of Canadian or how Canadians perceive other people think our accent sounds like,
Yes.
Yeah.
right?
Correct.
All the time. Do you think when we do that it still sounds the same to other people?
When we make fun of the Canadian accent,
Yeah. Do you think it comes across as we're just a little bit exaggerated, or do you think it's just like it sounds the same to them? Like they're like, well, you didn't sound any different.
No, I think it's a little bit over exaggerated. Like I think
yeah.
of like a Texan imitating their own accent. You know, the giant drawl compared to like a more normal
fair
or
enough.
toned down drawl.
yeah.
Yes and no. I'm going to agree with Jerry that the people down east have a much thicker.
Well, yeah.
Wow.
Well, they definitely.
I mean,
Or out east,
we
not
obviously
down east.
we can't compare with Newfies. Like,
Yeah.
have you ever heard a Newfoundland accent?
Yeah.
Yeah,
that is
crazy.
thick.
Yeah,
That makes me think when I'm listening to
Molasses thick.
yeah.
just molasses.
Just molasses, no other substance. Don't say anything else.
What substance were you thinking of?
Just molasses.
Just molasses.
Just molasses.
Just molasses.
That's our first T-shirt. Just molasses.
Just molasses.
You know, I think molasses is a good name because it's a thick sounding word, isn't it? Like molasses. Like it lingers, you know?
It does linger.
Doesn't it? I like words that really I feel accentuate the character of what the word means, like voluptuous. Voluptuous
that's
is
a
a
great
voluptuous word.
I love that
You
word.
know?
Voluptuous.
Yeah, voluptuous.
Yeah, that sounds
Yeah.
like that rolls off the tongue really
It
nicely.
does. Yeah,
Makes
Oh.
it feel good.
I know. I like words like that.
Wow, good English words. What?
Good English words, spoken real gooder.
Real good.
Real
Yeah.
gooder.
Hey, speaking of English words, a game about Russia came out on Friday. Metro. That's a pretty big
Oh,
one.
Metro.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
I have to think
know-
about that.
I know I enjoyed the first two, yeah, and they're really fun.
Is this the fourth Metro game? There's been a couple, haven't there?
I think it's the
this
third.
No, I think this is the fourth. There's Metro 2033, Metro Redux.
No, Metro Redux is the collection of the two games.
Okay.
There's Metro 20. No, I don't know.
2022, and then Metro Redux.
I thought.
Or is Redux the new one?
No, Exodus is the new one. I thought Redux was the package of two games combined.
Maybe
I think it is.
Either way, I played both.
Yeah, I played
those
both.
games. Those games I found were because I played most of the games on there right off the get go on the hardest difficulty I can play them on, especially horror games because I find they
Yikes.
like add to the environment, like the whole
The spookiness.
environment. Yeah. So that game was annoying to play on hardest difficulty, specifically when you went outside and there's those demons that were flying
flying
around.
soup.
My
It's,
goodness.
So it was Metro 2033, Metro Last Light, and then Metro Exodus. So it's the third.
Okay. Gotcha.
So
It's
Redux,
in-game.
Redux
Don't
was both of
question
them
me,
together.
yeah.
Damn.
No, I wasn't sure.
And we said 2022, not 20.
A couple years from now.
Can't wait.
10 years, 11 years from this date.
Those are cool games.
I honestly, it's been so long since I played them. That's one of the few things I remember from them is the demons annoying me because I got really mad at that point. I also when did those came out quite a while ago.
Well, like the Redux, those are remasters, so I don't know when they originally came out.
Because I played the originals. I think I didn't play once they remastered it.
Oh, I have no idea when
The
that
very
was.
first one came out in like the mid 2000s, I want to say, and then the sequel, whatever it was, Last Light.
Yeah,
Is
Last Light was the
that
sequel.
came out a couple years after that.
Metro 2033 was in 2010. Metro Last Light is 2013.
Oh.
Okay.
There you go. They've always seemed like games that have big followings, but it seems like this most recent one hasn't made much of a splash so far.
Yeah, I can't really say I've heard anything about it. Like, I don't know. I've been trying to keep track of what's been going on just for social media purposes. But yeah, Metro's been pretty quiet. It's been
Which
odd.
is, I mean, again, I didn't hear a lot about the first ones either. Like, I knew a lot of people who played them, but it wasn't like it came, like you said, it didn't really explode in the media or any kind of big thing coming around being like, oh yeah, Metro's come out or anything like that.
Well, another thing with this one too is that it decided to go exclusive for PC on the Epic Store. It's not on Steam at all, and I know
Okay.
a bunch of people were upset about that because it was on Steam originally, but I guess Epic takes less of a cut from sales than Steam does. So that's
okay.
why, like, they're offering the game like $10 cheaper than it would have been on Steam.
Wow.
Yeah, which is really interesting. But players were like, "Grr, not on Steam."
Well, I mean, yeah, everyone's set
I
in their
get
ways.
it, but
Yeah.
Because when you have your whole library on Steam and then it's
Yeah.
like one game, you're like, I don't want to go
Yeah.
get the other.
Well, absolutely. I mean, Steam is so integrated with PC culture
At
and
this
PC
point,
gaming
yeah.
culture. Like that's what some people play all of their games on, right?
Well,
So-
it's crazy because like Ubisoft, all of their PC, I don't know about all, but a good majority of their new PC games are only on the Epic Store. Division 2, only on the Epic Store.
or directly from
From Epic.
that, from
or,
Ubisoft,
yeah.
sorry, because they have their Uplay and all that stuff that they have or whatever.
Uplay.
I played a lot of Ubisoft games. I have yet to delve into what the Uplay is.
I play all the Assassin's Creed. I have like thousands of Uplay points. I have no idea what they do.
Like, watch it be able to like redeem them for brand new games and stuff like that. And we're just like
All this
collecting all
time.
this
I'm
stuff.
like, great. I got
It's like
Uplay
expiring
points.
over time.
I think around the time Assassin's Creed Brotherhood came out, and this is when I was still playing Assassin's Creed games. That was one of the first ones they kind of integrated the Uplay stuff into it, and you would get points for doing stuff in the game or whatever. And I think there was an achievement for redeeming some of those points. So I went in and actually did some of that, and I assume it's different now, but some of the stuff was like, okay, it was like cosmetic stuff you could use in game. It was like stuff that was actually made the experience a little bit different. But I think now it's more of like a bit of a microtransaction-y type deal. But I think you might actually be able to redeem them for games. So,
because I know when you look at Rainbow Six Siege, there's not they have the microtransactions for their specific currency that they have in game, but it's not Uplay points. It's I forget what it is. It's some sort of currency specific to Rainbow Six Siege. So I don't know. That's why I remember that point when the same thing where it's like you get stuff. I believe now if you get achievements, they correlate with Uplay points.
Oh,
yeah. So it's like that's how many points you get towards or something along those lines. Because I've had times where I've been playing Siege and I've gotten an achievement. And then all of a sudden this Uplay thing pops up saying, oh, hey, you get this. I was like, okay.
They're just like, yeah, let's slap the achievements and Uplay together. 2 birds, 1 stone. No one cares about it at this point.
I mean, whoever goes and gets all the achievements for Rainbow Six Siege is a monster. It's like that's a grind that I wouldn't even try to
it's one of those.
Like it's a lot of, and especially since the game's all multiplayer, right? Besides the situations. So it's like, trying to get a multiplayer achievements is hard enough in most games, no mind a game that's that competitive and that unforgiving when it comes to how your health and dying.
But there's so many good teammates out there, Jarrod.
Actually, that's you joke about that. That is one of the best games for random teammates I've played.
Is it?
Honestly,
I've heard very mixed things. I've heard it's either one extreme or the other with that.
I found at least because I can't play ranked on there yet because I haven't leveled up enough.
Okay.
But so far in casual anyways, it's a much more supportive community. I mean, with the occasion, obviously you have the bad person here and there, but it's the most supportive community towards teamwork in chats that I've seen in a long time.
You're talking about PC though, right?
Yeah, and PC.
Yeah, I feel like
no, I know Xbox.
in general.
Xbox is cancer for Siege. I've definitely played on Xbox a bunch of times, and especially in competitive, and gotten a whole bunch of aggressive messages from people, and I'm like, I mean, is what it is, but. Okay, so PC stream of Rainbow Six I found was a lot more welcoming, but that could change with competitive. I don't know the competitive scene. I know that it's such a highly competitive game in general, so it probably does get worse as you get higher up. But at the same time, you get at least you would get better teammates too. I'd hope, but.
The Xbox people mean it more because they gotta take the time to like make the message with the stick on the A, and they spell it out. Whereas PC is like, you suck.
So that was my first time I played a shooter, like differentiating from controller to keyboard.
Oh yeah,
it is so much easier to do keyboard. I figured it'd be easier, but I didn't think it would be that big of a difference. And now I see why people were always so mad when people would have mouse and keyboard on system, because the reaction time and the pinpoint accuracy is so much better because it's just the way it works. The mechanic is so fast. You can get such more precise shots from different angles.
But then at the same time, people can be like godlike on PC as well.
Yeah, and that's where the trade-off is. I've found it's been pretty easy to adapt. Some of the doing multiple things at once on Siege have been difficult, but overall I found it's been a pretty smooth transition. The only thing I'm not quite used to is the fact that I can just move it and it goes exactly where I want it to be, whereas in like the other Siege it'd be kind of like have that like adjust back, and but I don't know, I'm enjoying it. But I mean, that's my first real PC game that's not a strategy game, and strategy games are just.
What about Minecraft?
Okay, fair enough. That was my first first person combat game was
Minecraft.
Minecraft.
Yeah, but the FPS stuff in Minecraft wasn't really up to snuff.
No.
What are you talking about?
Have you guys looked into Minecraft at all recently?
I'm scared of that.
It is so much more complicated than when
because we recently started our world, which I know is now outdated again. So we're gonna have to. So we always do this. We've done this, I think, at least 3 times, where we started a world to do achievements, gotten a little bit through, everyone's jumped on. So a few of us would jump on. So I think Evan jumped on. I think you jumped on
at one point. Yeah.
At one point there, I know Eric jumped on the world before the current one. And now the current one's outdated, and we were like, we had this huge plan. We found this nice area. We were all gonna build our places.
Can't you just build using the new content? You have to start all over.
I believe the world. Well, maybe you can now, because the first few times we had to reload the world.
Oh,
because the new content didn't load into the world that was already.
Oh, so it was like a bigger update than just some content.
Yeah.
It was. Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah, because I mean, when they release updates, it's like, let's just change our game entirely, kind of updates. It's never really small things. Maybe a couple small ones just to fix a few bugs, but for the most part, Minecraft just.
Got to keep the 9-year-olds entertained.
Mm-hmm. And
Fortnite's out there. Like,
oh God, I don't like Fortnite.
When do you think we're going to get Minecraft 2?
God,
It's probably going to come out, right?
Microsoft owns it, so
It has to, right? Eventually, it's going to have to be a thing, right? It's going to be the biggest game in the world for.
How do they do a
you're right.
Minecraft 2? Like,
But that's what I'm thinking as
They
well.
take out any NPCs and
instead
it
of
becomes
blocks,
a beautiful game.
it's circles.
What, are they going to make Minecraft 76?
Oh God.
That's not too hard. Just put it in the desert biome and put one person in it. You've got it. Fallout 76.
And Todd Howard.
And Todd Howard. No. Todd Howard doesn't want to associate himself with that anymore.
It just
The number
works.
76.
It just works.
It just works, ladies and
That's a
gentlemen.
great quote. God.
Oh, Todd.
That's still a sore
Todd.
spot. That game's never going to get played. It's in our library forever, and it's not going to get played.
Yeah, it's like,
Do you think it's gonna go free to play?
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
I'm surprised it didn't already go free to play. Like, they've tried updating it. No one likes what they're doing. Like, it's just been a shit time from day one.
Yeah.
It's so hard with games like that, though, because even if they come back and it's like, oh, the game's good now, we fixed it. It's like, yeah, well, you missed your chance.
like Sea of Thieves.
There's other games
Yeah.
now.
Well, and like we were talking about, Apex Legends came out now.
Yeah.
There's big games that are coming out that have been successful upon launch that have really kind of taken advantage of the fact that there's a lot of games that are launching that are just not good.
That fact frustrates me. Because it's so true.
Yeah.
Painfully true.
It's why I play indie games now, basically. Like, I know Peter is indie Peter, but I like a good indie game as much as anyone else.
Yeah.
They just have so much more polish and they're so much more fun to play.
They got a
So
certain
much
charm
time.
to them.
They do.
Well, and they're so easy. They're like a sit back and just enjoy yourself. I
Yeah.
know there's hard. I'm not saying easy as difficulty.
How dare you generalize my
easy.
kind.
I'm saying easy. You are easy.
Oh,
I'm
you
saying-
started the STIs in Edmonton.
No, the secret's out.
Oh my goodness! But like they're just a game to easy to sit down and play. Like it's
most of them, yeah.
It's not something that you have to take like, okay, I need to have at least an hour to play this. I can't just sit down and play a game.
Yeah.
Peter, shut up.
Well, I mean, there are.
You're a very fine line here.
Good.
There's too many indie games for you to make a broad statement.
I am
like
making
that.
a broad statement.
Like,
all indie
I am
games.
painting a thick line here.
You said it.
dripping
You said
everywhere.
I'm walking a line. It's gonna be a big line.
I'm walking all over the place.
My line just goes
Yeah.
like this through all the indie games.
Short indie games, long indie games. Where we got everything.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. But yeah, no, but that's totally true now. It's like indie games are becoming more of I'd say more of a thought of option for people now that and I know that's already had a pretty good following, but it's like now that a lot of the AAA titles are failing literally off their launch, people are turning to games that are being more successful at launch, and a lot of the indie companies take more time to care about what their
Yeah,
game is, whereas a lot of the AAAs are like, all right, how much money can we make from this in the shortest period of time, right? They don't really care.
I mean,
the longevity. There's a few companies. I'm not saying all AAA companies are now saying screw quality.
Rockstar is really good about that.
Yeah, but Rockstar takes 18 years to release a game.
Yeah, but
which
it's
is
worth
no,
it.
it's
and
totally,
their games
yeah,
come
it's
out and
totally
they make $1
true.
billion.
No, I'm not saying that. That's what I'm saying though. Is that their trade-off is that they take their time to launch. But could you imagine if every developer took their time to launch? You'd have
There would be a lot of unhappy shareholders.
Yeah.
Let's say that.
exactly, and then you'd have a lot of people that would be also unhappy because it'd be like, all right, this game came out, another 10 years until the next game. So you'd have literally like periods of complete release, and then it'd be periods of drought for games.
I'm not going to see a return on my investment for another 10 years.
Good deal.
Yeah,
I'll invest
excellent.
all my money now.
Yeah.
That should be our model for
Oh,
Live Connection.
it already is our model.
As of right now, I want to take a guess at how much GTA 5 has made.
Well, within its
Is that with microtransactions
From
as well?
launch, yeah.
within its first month, it made $1 billion, I think.
First 3 days made
Yeah.
1 billion.
All right.
GTA Online or GTA?
Just GTA in
Just
general.
Okay.
5 in general.
Wow.
But with microtransactions and everything like that, over the course of however many years, it's got to be like, God, who could?
I'm gonna say like close to 5.
It's, I mean,
Maybe even more than that.
Yeah, I read this number a while ago, and I remember being like, "Good Lord, yeah, it's
'Cause, I mean,
somewhere around there."
it can't be like much higher than that, because if it made like $10 billion, that would be insane. Like, I don't know if that's possible.
I want to say it was like
That's a lot of microtransactions.
Yeah, I'll say.
I want to say it was like 7 billion.
Like when you guys went over and under, it's over $6 billion.
There you
So,
go.
well, since it's over, we'll say that you got closer to it. But that's still a stupid amount of money. But
That's
at
a
the
lot
same
of
time,
taxes.
there you go. That's a lot of work put into a game. And again, Red Dead Redemption launched, not lost.
It didn't
Sorry,
lose
Zach, it
anything.
lost.
Yeah. What did it lose?
Lost to GTA.
No.
Give it time.
Everything lost to GTA. But it launched, and again, a good quality game. The music was phenomenal. Gameplay was really good. Yeah, okay, there were some issues with the launch of multiplayer and all that, but overall, I mean, what do you expect? It's a huge game being played by a lot of people.
It's also in beta.
Yeah, the
so
multiplayer is a beta.
Yeah.
It
So I
has
mean,
some issues.
overall, again, Rockstar released another top of the line game.
So what really blows my mind is that like Crackdown 3 was delayed for like so long, and like I finally got down to play the single player a bit, and it's fine, but it feels dated. It feels like a 360 game.
That's the issue when you have games that get pushed back.
But, like,
by
Red Dead,
a lot of time.
Despite its long development, it still feels modern, more than modern. It feels top of the line.
Yeah, but that's because Rockstar always goes for the next level of their engine.
It
right?
blows my mind that they can like work on it and still have it like for.
Yeah, see, like that's where it gets me. The companies are like, oh my God, this game sold well. Let's pump out another one in 6 months.
Yeah.
Where then they look at Rockstar as like, oh.
Yeah, but I feel like it comes down to like a time budget. So it's like
more than
you would take. I'm
way more
sure
than
there's an
that, sorry.
estimation process involved where it's like, how long do we think this game's going to take to develop? What year will it come out, and where do we think the technology will be at that point?
Yeah, I guess.
So it's like when you have companies that do that well, like Rockstar's done, then they hit a game that feels like it's new age technology. Like they just made it yesterday with everything they have access to. Whereas then there's other companies like Fallout 76 with Bethesda where they're like, this engine works. Paint. This engine works
runs.
again.
It doesn't work. It just works. It just works, everybody.
But like I don't know. I feel like that's a huge thing that a lot of companies underestimate is where's the technology, where do they think it's gonna be? Obviously that'd be a really hard thing to hit every time because it takes one big finding for us to advance our technology a huge amount. Right?
Yeah.
But for the most part, you can take a pretty good guess at where we're going to be at a stage in like 5 years or 6 years.
Well, it's also balancing that knowledge with what's going to be available to the consumer. We have the technology to run photorealistic graphics, but you can't put that kind of technology into a console.
Yeah.
You need a NASA supercomputer to do it with a PC, right?
Yeah.
So
And they're busy trying
Yeah.
to get the rover back.
Yeah.
yeah. No, it's dead. The rover's dead.
Yeah, they pronounced it. GG, well done.
Yeah. But anyways, you know, so I was looking at it the other day because there's so much stuff for Unity right now, the Unity engine, so many like assets that people can use, and they're basically at photorealism or just like below it.
Pretty
right?
close, yeah.
So, but it's impossible for a normal person to run photorealistic graphics, right? So it's also about what's available to the consumer, but I also think you have to realize not every consumer cares about that kind of stuff. A lot of people do, but take a look at a game like Hollow Knight, which is one of the best games of the past couple years. Again, an indie game, just a 2D Metroidvania. It's incredible. It's like one of the best games I've ever played. So,
Well, and that's the thing is like if a game is lacking in one area, it usually picks up in another area.
yeah.
Fallout 76 was an exception to that. It lacked in every area, but but that's what I mean though. Like, yeah, you take into consideration consumer, what they have access to, the majority, because you want to appeal to the majority. You can appeal as best you can to everything, but you have to appeal to the majority. It's a business. You need to make money. That's the whole point of it.
Yeah.
It's to make profit.
Speaking of appealing to the majority, I have a topic to bring up.
Oh, goodness.
So on the Live Connection Twitter, which you should follow, by the way.
Where do I want to put it? down lower. Don't put it.
What's the handle? It's Live Connect Real, right? 'Cause
Live Connect Real, yeah.
we didn't get Live Connection. Somebody took it before we
There was
existed.
some other Live Connection out there.
Yeah.
But we ran a poll asking if people think the next COD should have a campaign. And what do you guys think the result was?
I think it was yes.
Yeah, you think it was yes?
I was actually talking to somebody today about this. No, I think the answer is no. I think Call of Duty is not like it's been a couple of years since it's been about the campaign. It's always been about multiplayer. People buy it for the multiplayer.
It's true.
It is, but I always liked the campaigns. Like even the games that weren't good, the campaign was still better than the multiplayer when they weren't good.
Yeah.
Like for example, Advanced Warfare, its campaign obviously wasn't as good as some of the past CODs, but it was still way better than the multiplayer because you play the multiplayer to play like a COD, right? That's how you want it to feel.
Like how many in the past like 3 Call of Duties in advertisement of the game advertised the campaign?
The one with Kevin Spacey.
Yeah, that was in the last 3, I think.
I think that was the
Black
third.
Ops 3, yeah.
But I don't know. I enjoy the campaigns. I like story. I don't always like to just play multiplayer, even for shooters. And there's not you have a lot of shooters are just going multiplayer now, right? And I think you don't have to have a huge story behind it. Yeah. Having a story there isn't a bad thing for the few people that enjoy it. I'm not saying have a 140-hour campaign along with your huge multiplayer. Yeah, but I'm saying having like a 20-hour campaign that's just there for the people who want to follow the game.
A 20-hour campaign in a Call of Duty game?
No, I mean,
that's I don't even think that's even been seen before.
I think Modern Warfare 2 was like maybe 11-ish hours.
Yeah.
Oh, fair enough. Sorry, I'm overshooting. I'm kind of going for whatever. But
and like Modern Warfare 2 had a pretty long campain.
Yeah.
Is it worth the amount of like time put in for such a small amount of people?
Not with them. Well, okay. So the poll, it got I think over 450 votes, and the result was overwhelmingly it should have a campaign.
Wow.
Well, there's
90% over.
Whoa, let's go back here a second.
Yeah, the poll I put into the chat because it was doing really well, and I was like, "Hey guys, you should vote on this." It
had 400.
It was getting close to 500. Yeah, dude.
How many follows did we get?
0. We got, I think, none. 2 profile clicks from that. And I was like, hey!
Look,
that's a win in my book.
Every 250 people, someone was like, it was probably one of us two that voted and clicked on our
It was probably a misclick. Shit.
They're like, oh shit, I meant to vote, not go to the profile to go back. That's impressive.
Yeah, no, it's crazy.
Campaigns.
I was super surprised.
Campaigns are powerful. People like story.
Yeah, well, and people got heated in the comments too.
For your
for that poll.
I'm gonna have to go back and watch this, but something that a lot of people don't seem to realize is that there's a huge demand for single player content. Like people want to do single player stuff just on their own time. I want to do it just on my own time. I want to play single player games still. Single player games are doing some of the best stuff right now. You look at God of War from last year. I'll bring up Hollow Knight again because Hollow Knight's awesome. Red Dead was awesome. Yep. People want to play single player stuff. That's just how
when you have so much, especially with battle royales coming up, they're basically taking over multiplayer. Why the hell else are you going to play a multiplayer now? Like, why even play Call of Duty? Just play battle royale.
Play Blackout.
Yeah. Like, I bet you there's more people. Well, I don't want to put this on thing, but I could see there being more people playing Blackout than there is currently playing multiplayer Call of Duty.
And that's something I said on Twitter. I was like, the ROI, it must be so much better for having something like Blackout over a campaign, but people are like, doesn't matter. I still want to play the campaign.
Because now you're talking about simplicity of design. It's like to design one large level. I'm not saying it's easy, but design one large level that's consistent versus designing 15 maps and then adding each mode to the map and going through all that process. Now, why do we even have multiplayer games like Call of Duty? Just have battle royales.
And battle royales are going to do better.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
every time a battle royale is released, people want to play it, right? So, yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was super interesting though. I would not have expected that result. I figure like single player games aren't dead by any means, but I think people want to play good single player games. I don't think they would buy Call of Duty for the single player experience.
I mean, I certainly wouldn't.
Yeah, like
when it was Modern Warfare and the original Black Ops, I did.
Those campaigns were good.
They were good campaigns. Like I enjoyed. Honestly, I know a lot of people enjoyed Modern Warfare 2 more. I enjoyed Modern Warfare, the original one, more for campaign. But overall, I mean, that whole series was just a good campaign.
Except for the third one.
Yeah, I don't like the third one. That's
No one
memories.
likes the third one.
They actually had a good string of campaigns because they had the original Modern Warfare, then they had World at War, and they had Modern Warfare 2, then they had Black Ops.
Black Ops was great.
Yeah.
The numbers.
The numbers, Mason.
The numbers.
Yeah.
How long ago was this poll? I'm looking for it.
It was actually in the comment section of a GameSpot post.
So you would have to go.
That's why
go
all
to the next tab, like the tweets that we've put out.
You can
on
either
other stuff.
go, yeah.
Tweets and replies.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was
It
a
would be
couple
under
days
there.
ago at this point, so you have to look for it.
Yeah, I'm gonna go take a look at that once this podcast is over because I'm curious.
Will you be buying Division 2 on launch?
Yeah. What's that at?
20 votes.
That's not bad.
That's pretty good. I see. Here's the thing: is like, and I was talking to Peter about this. Is that I've heard a lot of people enjoyed Division 2 when they did their demo or whatever, their beta for it. The thing is, like, when they fixed Division 1, I played the Division 1, and I really enjoyed it when I played it. But I had played it quite a while after, like, a long time after launch. And they've apparently taken what they fixed with 1 and taken a lot of their feedback, and they've applied it to number 2. And the thing is that I know one of the guys that is in one of the groups I'm with, he mentioned that the nice thing about that game is that it wants you to do teamwork as much as possible. It's kind of, again, a game that's now emphasizing you can't just you can do it on your own, but it's going to be a lot easier, a lot better if you do it with people around. It's very hard to do it on your own, from what he told me. I haven't played number 2, so I have no clue. But I actually am interested in Division 2 because I liked what they had, the idea for Division 1, and when I played the Division 1, it was great. I just was curious if they were going to make it any better for the Division 2. That was my biggest interest in that one.
I've only heard one thing from one person on YouTuber on Division 2, and he was kind of saying that he feels like it feels uninspired in a sense, like that they made improvements, but it's not a lot, and that a lot of the combat is kind of just shoot at some bullet sponges.
I feel the same way. Like, I feel like ever since Destiny, there's been a few games like that, Division being one of them, where it's just generic mission, go get better stuff. Repeat, get better stuff again.
But that's MMOs in general.
Yeah.
Well, I'm starting to realize that a lot of these games that mix single player and multiplayer content feel really uninspired in a lot of ways. I'm starting to see. I think if you can do one thing really well, then you should, right? Because I enjoyed Destiny. I enjoyed Destiny 2, but I don't play them anymore because it just got bad.
Yeah,
right?
it's just you get to a point
we played Destiny 2, and it was like, it was when Destiny 1 came out, Grayden and I played it together. And it took us it actually made us kind of commit to it because it took such a long time for us to level up. And then when everyone else came and joined us on Destiny 1, you guys took like 5 days for you guys to get to the same point that we did. And it took us so many hours to get, and we were actually pretty irritated by that.
Yeah, well, it's because we died on launch and we spent months getting to level 20 and then improving. Hey, that was the max level at the time. And then from there, improving our light level. And then like 5 months later, they're like, buy the game and you can automatically upgrade to level 20.
Yeah, I bought the game when it was level 20.
I bought the game and they put an item as like, you can use this item to automatically go to level 40. It's like, fuck yeah, sweet.
And I was
I remember that because when you guys said you guys were getting it, when you guys said you were going to get it, we were pretty excited. We're like, oh, good, we can actually do all this stuff, but we can actually help you guys. We'll do this. Then you guys came on matching levels. Eric was better than us.
Some of us had better light levels just by buying the game.
Yeah.
To go back a little bit on the Call of Duty thing, it was 94% of the 420 people that voted said yes, it should have.
That blew my mind.
Wow.
That's not even, and there's 6% that said it shouldn't have one.
Yeah, like I was expecting like some people, but overwhelming majority. Damn.
Yeah, I know that is it. I didn't think that would be the case.
It's not like it's. Like
I would have seen more people looking through Grayden's opinion on it.
Yeah.
But. Yeah. Honestly, like I've always been one that likes the single player stuff because I like to do that stuff on my own once in a while.
I mean, I enjoy them. I play them. I just don't buy Call of Duty for the single player experience.
Like,
if they could start coming out with really top of the line campaigns, then I would. Because right now, they're not
going to do that.
Okay, shut up.
They're not going to spend their money on that.
Do that.
They're going to be like, hey, 9-year-olds, buy some more microtransactions to get this spray that you can put down while you're waiting to launch in Blackout.
Yeah, but here's the thing is, like, multiplayer even for Call of Duty is kind of, to me, taking a dive. Like, Black Ops 4 did a better job of it, but I still found it was like, I don't know. And this is maybe me just being stuck in the past of how Call of Duties were. And
Do you think we're getting old?
I think what's happening is that we enjoyed something and we're not adaptable.
Back in my day, we didn't jump off the walls and do 360s.
Back in our day, you had to do your own 360s to do a no scope.
I think a lot of it comes back to we're just kind of at that point in our lives where you don't have a lot of time to invest in gaming. So when you do, you want to get the most out of it. That's how I feel anyway.
Yeah,
that's why I'm
totally.
enjoying these single player experiences so much. Like the big thing I remember was a couple years ago when SimCity came out, and it had a terrible launch because it had mandatory online connectivity, even though it was a single player game, right? Because you're building your own city, you had to be connected to the internet, and it basically didn't work. And so some people who loved this series couldn't play it, and I remember them being, I get to play like 45 minutes of video games a day, but like after my day job and when the kids go to bed or whatever, right? So like I really feel like, yes, we are kind of getting a little bit old because I can't invest time in like being super good at a multiplayer game.
Yeah.
I'd rather just play a single player game that I'm going to enjoy.
Well, how many of us, like, when the Call of Duty came out, were like, oh, I'm going to prestige. I'm going to get this. I'm going to crush this game. Right? Like, it's we used to, but now it's like, I'm lucky if I get to level 30 in a Call of Duty.
It's just like Mitch. She's like prestige. I don't even know what in Black Ops 4.
I don't know how. I don't even know how the prestige. I haven't known how the prestiges have worked in the last like 7 Call of Duty.
I was gonna say like a good 5 at least.
A lot of the time, like playing multiplayer is like dreadful. Like you just don't want to do it. It's like Jared's recording Mass Effect right now, and to get the good ending, you need to jump into the multiplayer.
No, I actually found you didn't.
Oh, really?
So I just found recently that they released when they released the extended cut DLC for the final clip of the game. They lowered the effective military strength that you had to get to 3100, which you can get pretty much as long as you took a character from Mass Effect 2 and imported it. You could get that really easily. And then you also, the galactic readiness didn't really play a role. It played a role if you had, the reason you used to have to do it is because in order to amplify your EMS, your effective military strength, you had to have 100% galactic readiness and everything.
Emergency medical service.
Shut up. Whereas now it's 3100, and you can get that as long as you import a character. Like I think I finished with 3500 was my effective military strength, and originally the first thing I remember is, oh god, I gotta do 5100, and then 5000. Then I read somewhere, because I looked it up, because I was like, if I don't have to, I have so much more to record. I have to record a bunch of Andromeda stuff to get it in there. I don't want to be. I love the game, but I don't want to play the multiplayer right now, and especially I don't want to do it on my own because it's a hard multiplayer to do on your own. The surviving the rounds in that game, especially on the harder difficulties, which
It's like a horde.
Yeah, and you have to play it on the hardest difficulties to really amp up the percentages. Otherwise, it goes up by like 5% in each area, and it's like it just takes so long.
Yeah.
So it's like you just play the hardest one, it goes up by like 20% each time. But to do that on your own is almost impossible, at least from my experience. I'm not good enough to do it on my own to play that game to go through that. But for it now, yeah, so it's down to 3100, and you just have to. You can get that as long as you imported a character, from my understanding.
Well, I guess it's time to play Mass Effect again.
Yeah, that multiplayer is what screwed me over.
There is only one way you can get the good ending. There's 3 options, but technically there's 4 endings.
4.
Because one of the 3 options has 2 possibilities. You either survive or you don't survive.
Oh.
But if you don't have enough effective military strength, you won't survive. If you do, you will survive, kind of thing.
I don't even care about getting the good ending. Like, I just played the base game, because I didn't want to buy any of the DLCs, because I didn't actually own the game. I just borrowed it from Eric. Mm-hmm. So I didn't really mind the ending that I got. I thought it was fine. I don't really care what the endings are like. I just want to see like what the Citadel DLC adds, because it's a lot more like so character good, stuff, right? Yeah,
it's so much fun. Like all their DLC. That's the one thing that I'll say about that trilogy. Added top of the line DLC when they did. Like adding the Omega DLC was cool for the 3rd one, because it kind of revisited some reminisced about the different areas you were at when you played in number 2. But I mean, this is where I say like, that is one of the few games that I don't know, it draws actual emotion out, because you get so connected to the characters throughout that game. And it's like when things happen, it's actually shitty. Like especially in 3, because 3 you see some people die that you had as companions in number 2, and it gets emotional. Like you're like, this is really sad.
When I played number 2, I fucked up the last assault. I got so many people killed, like good characters. Like Jack died. Tally died. Fade died. Some of the best characters died. It was awful.
I think the first time I played it, the person who died for me was I had Zaid die, which I didn't really care at that point. Like Zaid's cool, but he doesn't really. I don't know. You don't really interact with him enough. Not a selling
point.
But there's some pretty you can really fuck up those games, and it starts so early. If you make a mistake early on, it can just downward spiral the whole game, and then you're just like, well,
I can't remember what Mass Effect it was, but I was always a Paragon guy. I would always make the Paragon decision. There was one choice, I think it was Mass Effect 2. There's one choice where a guy was like throwing bottles at me, and I was like, hey, fuck you, and that was it. The end of the game came. It's like the happy everyone survives ending or the other one, and it was like I couldn't select it because I made one bad
here's the
decision.
thing. Mass Effect 2 is very tricky because you either have to, if you get all the loyalties, then for most part you can send anyone anywhere. There is an exception to that. You can get loyal people killed, but if you don't have people loyal, you can put groups together that makes them survive. So for that, because you're talking about there's a couple conflicts that happen in the game.
I tried every possible.
No, but there's a conflict. You can. It's where you put them based on who's the leader. So if you have someone who's not, I
restarted the save and I tried every possible combination of people. I couldn't do it. It was the one renegade decision that fucked me.
No, I'm not saying for that decision. Like I think you're talking about the Miranda. Jack decision where you couldn't convince them to be friends and they get in a fight and they disperse, and that one you have to have almost 100% Paragon to get.
You have to have either 100% Paragon or 100% Rogue. I think.
And if you don't do that one, as long as you put whoever's not loyal as not the in that case, you'd be better to side with Miranda and have Jack as unloyal, because you can put Jack in the second fire team group the entire time with either Garrus or Miranda as the leader, and they'll survive.
You're not right.
I am right.
No, you're not, because I did that. I restarted the save like 7 times.
I'm not saying you have to. Trust me, I've done it because I've had the non-loyal and I've come out with everyone on top.
Roll the clip.
I don't think it can be done.
No, I've had Jack unloyal because my first playthrough, that's what happened, and my biggest fear was people dying. So I found out a way to do it.
I put her in every possible spot and I couldn't do it. And I only made that one renegade decision that entire game.
No, but that's because she wasn't loyal.
You're explaining that's...
Yeah.
What this conversation is really showing me is just how, like, ahead of its time Mass Effect was in, like, those good RPG mechanics. Like, how many possible outcomes there were. Like, I was just thinking about it. There's so many characters. So many of them can die and not be present in the next game. In Mass Effect 3, because that's how it was for me, because so many people died for me, because I wasn't using a guide or anything like that.
Well, and where they pop up is so cool.
It's crazy to think how well integrated all these characters were into the game.
That's a crazy system.
No kidding.
For it to all to work.
Like, I can't think of an RPG that has done that other than Mass Effect, like just off the top of my head.
No, it's like I said, it's one of the few games that I actually got attached to the characters, and where it's like I felt like I had to take time to think about my decisions. Like, it wasn't like somewhere I just like, well, now I can, because I played it so many times I can skip through most of the dialogue and I know what my options are going to be. But at the time when I first played it was like, oh shit, like if I do this, and then there's one time I tried to play as a renegade, but then my personal morals got in the way.
Good guy, Jerry.
I played really well like that. It was the same thing in the Star Wars: The Old Republic. I was like really nice. I was like, okay, or no, sorry, I was the opposite. In the Star Wars: The Old Republic, I was like, I'm gonna be an asshole. I'm gonna be a dark Sith. I'm gonna be mean. Doesn't matter. I hate everyone. Literally got to the first DLC, and you're leading like a resistance, and I felt bad because some of the resistance were good people, and my decisions were disappointing them, and their disappointment in me were like, oh, okay, I'll start being better. I'll start being nice.
Nice Sith you are, yeah.
But in Mass Effect the decisions, that game I agree was beyond its time when it came out, and I think like we've talked about, Andromeda didn't do as well. I still liked Andromeda. The combat system was better. I'm going to bring this up in a whole video, but the combat system was better, and the story itself wasn't bad. It kind of just piggybacked off of the original trilogy storyline. But I mean, again, most games have that antagonist, and you're gonna go against them, right? Yeah. Like that's just how it works. Like you build up, and they're more powerful when you first meet them, and then all of a sudden you're like, haha, now I am more powerful.
You know, it was a great game. Now that I'm thinking about it, that infused multiplayer with a great single player story is Borderlands.
Borderlands, yeah, that was good. Those were good.
Yeah, that kind of co-op style. I enjoyed that one.
Borderlands 3 might be announced soon.
I know. I was just thinking about that too.
Yeah. Anyways, we are coming up on our time where we must call it a podcast.
We weren't
It was
calling it a podcast.
it was already called a podcast.
No, this is called a discussion.
Hey. Bringing it back.
Bring it back, mate.
Hey.
All right.
Hey,
We say hey.
That's right.
We say hey out west because we have so many agricultural products.
In your best Canadian accent, end the show.
You want me to say a?
I don't know. Anything.
All right. Well, buds, thanks for coming out to our podcast here. Remember to go back and grab a poutine and catch a game on the ice there. Play some more roll up the rim at the Timbers.
Fuck bud.
Fuck, bud.
Fuck bud. Poutine sounds pretty good right about now.
I'm pretty hungry.
If you guys have anything to talk about on our conversation pieces we had, by all means, leave a comment in the comment section. And please support us and leave a like for this video. Thanks for watching.
If you're
Thank you.
hungry, leave a subscribe.
If you're hungry for poutine, only poutine.
You just lost us so
You guys
many
want-
subscribers.
You want to do the 5-pound poutine challenge?
Oh, I wish.
Sure.
Tune in. Bye.
Bye.